Welcome to the 2022 Hot Wheels Legends Tour. I am Jared Dienda, and I'm so proud to be here from Los Angeles, California, and back with you, the Hot Wheels fans. And I announce drifting, I announce rallycross, I mean kids' parties, and this is a party. That's what we're celebrating here. Hot Wheels diecast. 50 plus years, these 1/64th diecasts have been made, just like this one right here. Oh man, look at that, the Hot Wheels Legends Tour, and then this trophy. Oh man, this is a brand new trophy for the Hot Wheels Legends Tour 2022. It's so bright, it's so shiny. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, Hot Wheels Legends Tour is back and on an international hunt for the next fan-made custom Hot Wheels diecast. That's right, we're talking custom cars here, fully modified out of your brain and then onto your canvas that is your vehicle. Builders and fans from around the world can now register and compete in this custom car competition. That's right, where the winner is immortalized as the next Hot Wheels diecast 1/64th diecast model. This is our first stop. We're kicking it off in grand fashion. We're going to New Zealand. So thank you for joining us, all those folks in New Zealand, and brought to you by The Warehouse. That's right. Thank you so much to The Warehouse, and special thanks to our media partner, that is Street Machine. All right, if you're tuning in from New Zealand, you can head to their website, thewarehouse.co.nz. I feel a little weird saying NZ, but I know down in New Zealand you say Z as opposed to in the States you say Z. But to shop the latest Hot Wheels range, and you can pick up that special Hot Wheels Legends Nissan Skyline GTR R32. It went live right at 6 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time, so get yours now before they sell out. So, you guys submitted your cars, and now we've whittled down to 10 submissions. That's right, a couple years ago, we had 20. Now, it's getting even hotter and heavier, 10 submissions per round of Hot Wheels Legends. The finalists from this round will go to the Hot Wheels Legends Tour virtual stop, and it will join the other finalists from around the world. Where it's at in November is TBD. The grand finale in November will be exciting. Remember, we crowned previous Legends round winners, and we're celebrating 5 years of Hot Wheels Legends. So you have your chance as immortalized as a Hot Wheels diecast. So here's what's coming up. This is what we're going to be seeing through the entirety of our show here this evening. The run of show, we're going to talk about our previous winners. We're going to meet our judges, our star-studded cast, and some of our Hot Wheels designers. We're going to talk about the judging criteria, exactly what our judges are scrutinizing, looking at of the vehicles. Again, this is this is bragging rights, and then eventually one of these vehicles, could it be New Zealand? That is to be decided. Contest submissions, we are talking about 1 through 4. Contestant submissions 5 through 6. Thanks to The Warehouse, of course. Contestant submissions 7 through 10. Our judges' top 3. They'll give us our 3, 2, and 1. And then finally, who is our winner at the first stop of the Hot Wheels Legends Tour in New Zealand? All right, before we meet our judges, check out our previous winners known as the Legends. See this book right here? Yeah, this book right here. The Hot Wheels Garage of Legends. They will be featured in this, a photographic guide to life-size versions of your favorite die-cast cars. So let's take a look at our previous winners. And this all got kicked off 5 years ago, celebrating 50 years of the iconic brand that is the Hot Wheels die-cast vehicle. Again, 5 years ago, we, obviously a different time and place where we were in the world. That's El Segundo. That's Hot Wheels headquarters. Well, right there, that is the vehicle, Luis Rodriguez, and that is the man, the 2 Jet Z. Well, if you know cars, I'm going to give you one little hint. What engine resides under the hood, the bonnet, the wings? It's a 2JZ powered 2 Jet Z. That was in 2018. Again, celebrating 50 years. Moving on to 2019. The 57 Nash Metropolitan. Greg Salzillo. Look at the like cutout. I mean, they did such a good job shrinking that vehicle down. And then, right there. And here it is in my hand. That is Riley Stairs' 70 Pontiac Trans Am. That thing is begging for me to grab the keys away from it. A purpose-built machine, and I love that vehicle overall. And then, last year, Lee Johnstone from Somerset, England, celebrated with his family by his side and his 1969 Volvo P1800. Great looking car and a great celebration of just a unique vehicle. That's what it's all about. And we'll get to the criteria in a little bit. But first, the judges that are scrutinizing our 10 vehicles here this evening. First up, she is not far. She is. You could hear the track at one of the most famous tracks in Australia. The smile says it all on her face. She's calling from her hotel room. This girl is constantly racing, a remarkably young age. And I like the fact that you sold your horse, single horsepower, to get your first race car, which had 100 horsepower. Joining us, rally car driver, race driver extraordinaire. Again, can you hear Bathurst right now? Molly Taylor is joining us. Molly, what's going on?
But really excited to see what we've got in store tonight. I think it's going to be, amazing. And as you say, that's probably the limit of my maths, going from 1 to 100 horsepower, but it seemed like a pretty good deal and hard to resist at the time, and never look back.
What I love about it, too, is the progression of your motorsport acumen. You go from that 1 horsepower to 100 horsepower, and then you kind of go to E-horsepower, because you kicked off and won the first ever, the inaugural Extreme E Championship, which is all about electrification, but also it's a bit of Dakar, it's a bit of rally, it's a bit of everything. How was that experience? Because the progression, sometimes the electrification of vehicles scare people, and sometimes people are excited about it. How was your experience, Molly?
Yeah, it's been fantastic to be involved in something completely new and new cars built from the ground up, and really pioneering what the future of motorsport's going to look like as well. So that's been really exciting to be part of. And I think just as car enthusiasts, when we're building new cars and testing new cars, and this is what tonight's all about. These are all cars that are built, many from scratch as well. So it's just really exciting to share that passion of sport, whether it's an EV or whether it's an internal combustion engine.
I love it. The youngest ever driver to win the Australian Rally Championship. So, again, a busy gal, and that's why you're just in your hotel room. As soon as we hit cut, you're just going to lie down and go back to sleep. So, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm missing all the really cool backdrops that everyone else has.
Well, I guess it's adding up to you just being a busy gal. So, thank you so much for joining us, Molly. All right, moving on to another Taylor. I don't think they're related. Yes or no? Give me a head shake or no? No? Okay, no, they're definitely not related. As I'm looking at the Daft Junk headphones on his head, these things are lighting up. But I think it's a happy meter, because this gentleman's happy to join us, and our whole judging panel has been part of our Hot Wheels Legends New Zealand judging panel before, but representing Street Machine Video, event producer, media partner judge. He helped create Carnage video series and the Drag Challenge, and he has such a sweet voice. I just want him to read me a book going to sleep. Mr. Scott Taylor is in the building. Scott, great to see you again. Thank you for, how was your experience last year, and how excited are you, here we are in 2022, to be back again?
Last year was just fantastic. I really enjoyed being part of this. With this stop being the first leg of the tour and the New Zealand leg, I'm really keen to see what the Kiwis can show us. Obviously, Street Machine being the media partner, we are a magazine full of cars that are basically Hot Wheels cars brought to life. That's just the way we roll. So, no, mate, it's great to see you again, and I'm always honoured to represent Street Machine on the Hot Wheels Legends Tour.
I feel like you have Hot Wheels behind you, between obviously the 95, the Ka-Chow. What do you got in your hand? What is that? What are we looking at here? Look at that.
Hot Wheels Legends. There's the Nash. There's the 2 Jet Z. I've got the Camaro there as well. Oh, sorry, the Pontiac Firebird as well. So,
yeah, dude, you're such a collector. You're such a fan.
Yep.
And I love it, man. Again, after this, can you read me C-Spot Run or something while I go to bed? Thank you so much. Because it is 11 p.m. here in the States, so we're staying up late here in the States. But thank you so much for joining us, Scott Taylor, representing Street Machine.
Love to be here.
And the next 2 gentlemen need no introduction, but we're waiting for the other gentleman who is the missing link. Where's the missing link? Well, first up, I have a great and near dear relationship with this gentleman. We've traveled the world from Singapore to Malaysia, Indonesia, and then in his native country of New Zealand. I have Fanu tattoo. There's the missing link. He is here. The Woodette boys, father and son, Mad Mike Woodette and Lincoln Woodette. And I know I'm going to ask the gentleman who has more Instagram followers the question here. Lincoln Woodette, going to you. I'm joking. Link, good to see you, man. And again, you've opened your house, your mom, your sister, your dad, and your whole activities is really awesome. Love it out there in New Zealand. But man, you've been a busy dude, and I got to ask you, how cool is it to have your car immortalized as a Hot Wheels diecast? There it is. I know you went to go grab one. That's what you went and did. But how cool is it to have your car immortalized as a Hot Wheels diecast?
Yeah, it was pretty much just like a dream come true to actually have my own car turned into a Hot Wheels. So it's pretty cool, obviously being able to live like right next to a racetrack, and we go down there pretty often, eh? And yeah, Dad's now struggling to keep up with me in Bad Bull, so it's obviously yeah pretty cool being able to go down to the drift and got my Hot Wheels here.
I love
But
it.
yeah.
I love it. You're a busy young man, and from what you said right before we went on air, you're about to go on holiday. So you got 2 weeks to get some more seat time. But either 2 wheels, 4 wheels, 1 wheel. I don't know what you're doing over there at the Wadette Farm, or the Mad Lab as we've deemed it. But let's talk to Pops here. Mad Mike, thank you so much for joining us. A busy man. Even today, you went and picked up a new project car. Don't tell anybody what it is, but overall, you're a busy man. Thank you for joining us. And how cool is it to work with one of the most iconic automotive brands in the world, Hot Wheels?
Oh man, it's an honour to be involved again with Hot Wheels Legends Tour coming to New Zealand, giving the Kiwis an opportunity to have such an amazing experience, have their creation that maybe themselves and their buddies have built in the shed, to then be sold on shelves all around the world. I very fortunately have about 9 or 10 now of my creations being created by Hot Wheels, but my relationship with Hot Wheels actually started because of Link and his racing. Hot Wheels have supported him since he's about 6 years old, racing his off-road trucks, and now it's from 6 years to now Link's 14. And yeah, through lockdown, we built him a drift car, and now Hot Wheels support him with his drift car, and he's, yeah, as he just showed, you got a 1/64 die-cast replica of his car. So it's a kind of a dad's dream as well, to be honest.
I mean, we're all kids at heart. So either playing with a 1/64th die-cast. Lincoln, can you say die-cast for me?
Die-cast. Die-cast.
Die-cast. There it is. There was the Kiwi version, and there is the American version. All joking aside, it's really great to have the Wadette boys here in the building. So congratulations for just being part of the Hot Wheels family, and I love that, the father-son relationship. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Link.
Thank you.
Let's move on here, meeting our judges. All right, now we're bringing in our Hot Wheels designers. They are on Pacific Standard Time here in the States. They're not too far from my location here in Mid-City, Los Angeles at Race Service. But I'm going to bring in, next up, 13 years at Mattel. And this gentleman is Hot Wheels die-cast designer. And this gentleman, look at the backdrop here. 25 years designing toys. He wanted to design Hot Wheels since he was in college. Brendan, excuse me. Gosh darn it, I just butchered your name.
You got one of them right this time.
And this one, I'm going to get right. Brendan Batusky. I butchered your name at the finals last year, and I just did it again. My name is Jerry Dianza, just FYI.
Okay,
Brendan
gotcha.
Brendan Batusky, thank you so much for joining us. All joking aside, you're a talented man, but what do you think overall of just, I mean, here you are, you're working your dream job, and then also you have 4 vehicles, is it, that are made into Hot Wheels diecast that are personal vehicles of your own?
I have 5.
Okay, weird flex. Okay, I said 4, and then you corrected me and said 5. Okay, 5.
It's not 9 like some other guys we know, but I'll do my best.
Yeah. But how cool is that to have your vehicles again
It's
immortalized?
totally humbling. It's an honor. It really is, and I love it. I'm very proud of it. I've got them on display at home and at work, and yeah, I share it with my family, my friends. Everyone knows about it, and it's a real honor. So, also, as a car builder, I can appreciate the desire to have one made into a Hot Wheels. So that's why it's so great one of the many reasons why it's so great to be here on this Legends event, and now doing this 5 years in a row, just to see the energy, the passion of all these cars that everyone pours their heart and soul into, to share them with us and make it potentially into a Hot Wheels vehicle. It's just so great to be a part of this.
And what's really cool about it too is you live it, you breathe it, because I mean your car has just been featured on a publication in the States. I know last night when we had our dress rehearsal, you said you were out late night scouring the newspaper and all the magazine shelves to acquire that magazine with your car on the cover. So I think just all this, look at that smile. I mean, that smile says it all. If it's a diecast, if it's a magazine, we still want the acknowledgement from our peers and from companies and from people. So, I mean, am I correct?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, no, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Brendan Batusky. Thank you so much. 5-car Hot Wheels diecast. obviously immortalization. All right, moving on to one of your Hot Wheels designer peers. He is a Hot Wheels design manager. Your titles change every day, so I want to make sure I get that right, but his smile says it all as well. Once again, I love this. Again, it's late at night. We're kind of just giddy over this because the times are changing, but join us is Dwayne Vance. Dwayne, lead designer. I mean, you've done character cars, 67 Mustang. I mean, the Vancinator is the vehicle that you're known for, which is kind of embodies you. Why is the Devance? I mean, did you come from the future and to tell us that we need to save something? Why is it called the Devancinator?
Well, actually, when I first returned to Hot Wheels, because I had an earlier stint, like back in the early 2000s, I came back and I had a sketchbook full of all these sketches, and I talked to Ryu at the time. And Ryu was like, "Have you ever had a car named after you?" And I said, "No, not yet." He goes, "We need to call it the Devancinator." So it was all Ryu's idea to do that. And I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." I'm a little flattered by that, But the inspiration behind the car, I've always loved like real ultra futuristic type stuff. And I love the cyberpunk feel of like Blade Runner and some of those sci-fi movies and stuff like that. So that car really was inspired by a lot of those genres and even current genres too, of taking like Lamborghinis and pulling off the whole rear end and exposing the engine, and that was a lot of the inspiration behind that Devancinator.
It looks so cool, and again, just seeing you're kind of the artist, and you've been on the show previously with Brendan, and you're sketching during it. And I love kind of your inspiration. I mean, you have everything from Warbirds to old salt flat vehicles to, like you said, Blade Runner, and then look what just showed up on my desk over here. This car look familiar right here? That's right.
That looks pretty cool.
That's Brendan's car.
Look at Brendan. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, of course it does, Brendan. This is your car, bro.
Yeah, I might be biased.
Yeah, I saw you at SEMA show late last year, and it was great to see you. And again, just all the new cool vehicles that you build. Again, live it, breathe it, smell it, taste it, all of it. So thank you so much. Also, just FYI, so real quick, Dwayne, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, man. And thank you for all that
Thanks
you do
for
for the
having
Hot
me
Wheels.
again.
Yeah, dude, obviously, so great. And hopefully you win that mountain bike race this weekend, because I know you're out there pedaling and pushing hard.
That's right. Actually, I'm the coach. My son's doing the racing.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
those that can't do teach. I get it. That's why I'm an announcer. So here's the Hot Wheels Garage of Legends book once again, and this is a really cool book available. But I got to show off the trophy because we did change it up this year. So the Hot Wheels Legends Tour trophy, a little reflection there. I apologize, but obviously the shine bright like a diamond because this is the trophy, and I got to show Link's car off again. But all right, well, thank you to our judges for joining us, as now we're going to go through our judging criteria. There's 3 criteria that you, the judges, Brendan, Dwayne, Mad Mike, Lincoln, Molly, and Scott, are scrutinizing. These are the criteria. You can see them right there: authenticity, creativity, and garage spirit. I'm going to break down the authenticity, and then our Hot Wheels designers are going to break down creativity and garage spirit. First up, authenticity. Basically, is it a race car? Is it a stunt car? Is it a show car? Is it something different? Does it really embody kind of the overall concept of what you're trying to execute, right? Because the vehicle is your canvas. These are full-size cars that we're going to shrink down. Is it cohesive? Is it funky? Is it absolutely offensive? Regardless, authenticity. You need to embody that. And maybe you see that vehicle and you say to yourself, that looks like a Hot Wheels. I'd love to own that vehicle. Maybe not the full size, but I'd love to have it on my desk or on my racetrack at home. So that's authenticity. Moving on, we are going to talk to Mr. Brendan Vituski. And if you could break down creativity. What is creativity in your mind as far as judging criteria?
So creativity for me is seeing something unique, original, inspiring, and just all around just amazing. Like, we've got a team of talented designers from all over the world, and we're also looking at cars from all over the world too. So we want to see something new, something we haven't seen before, something that stops us in our tracks and makes us go, wow, that is so cool. Look at this. They thought of this. They changed this profile. They really went all out on this car and just did this radical change to it that just makes it so cool, so inspiring, and just like, whoa, I love it. It's got to be a Hot Wheels. And looking for that moment with the cars that we see today.
Yeah, that's again, just that aha moment, just to be like, that one. And again, you guys have to, I do not envy you guys and gal on how you're scrutinizing these, just to whittle it down to 3. So I appreciate the insight there, Mr. Vatuski. And then moving on to Garage Spirit, I throw it over to the Devancinator. He came from the future to tell us about Garage Spirit. Devancinator, if you will.
Yeah, Garage Spirit kind of, that whole saying of built, not bought. And it's when you're taking pride in what you're building and you're actually working on it and doing it yourself. Maybe not everything, but at least the majority, your vision that's brought to life. You can tell that a car that has been paid for, that's been built in a shop, and then they rolled it out, and it's a gorgeous like trailer queen. But I feel like the Garage Spirit is more of that kind of raw, racing spirit. Just this idea that comes out of the garage that you actually worked on is really the whole thing that encompasses Garage Spirit.
I think that's great, and I'm gonna double down on that too, because you mentioned Ryu Asada, who passed away last year, who we love near and dear, and who was on this show and just such a great contributor to the Hot Wheels Diecast family. He passed away of cancer, and we even had an award for him last year, just kind of acknowledging his exactly that, just that creative garage spirit, because sometimes it's about the family that you create or the family you're surrounded by that also contributes to that garage spirit. Would you agree in that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I think even when all of us Hot Wheel designers, when we design cars, I know that I envision myself actually building a little one, like an actual car in the garage. And then I'm just bringing it out in 1/64th scale. So
I love how you stopped yourself there. 1-to-1. That was designer talk right there. He's like, here I am designing a 1-to-1 car. That is a full-size car. Thank you, Devancinator. You don't even need a fancy name to understand that, Dwayne. I'm joking. Right. I'm joking. Thank you so much. Again, there's some insight, authenticity, creativity, and garage spirit. That's what we're trying to get to right here. And again, 10 cars. Which one will represent New Zealand? Well, of course, it wouldn't be the Hot Wheels Legends Tour without our retail partner. Where? The Warehouse. That's right. Thank you to The Warehouse. You can see it right there, thewarehouse.co.nz. If you're tuning in from New Zealand, you can head to their website to shop the latest Hot Wheels range, including my man Lincoln Wadette's sweet, what do we call this thing? Link, what do you call it again? It's the what do you call it again?
The No Kiddin MX-5.
That's right. No kidding. You dropped the mad, so we need to be like, but I love it. Obviously, the livery kind of peeling back, and it has the digi camo that your father was so well known for. But and hopefully you could still grab the R32. But guess what? Nope. I got a note. It's sold out. That's right. The R32 is sold out at the Warehouse. So if you wanted it, sorry. Well, I guess that's obviously that perceived value there. You want to own it, but sometimes it just goes away. All right, are you guys and gal ready to judge and scrutinize these vehicles? Make some noise.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, that's right. Did you say send it, Mike? That's my line. Okay, you owe me $5. You owe me $5. That's it. Or I'll settle out of court for a trip to New Zealand. All right, I'll see you in December. All right, so let's moving on to our first vehicle here. Our first vehicle is very unique, and it could fit a lot of people. That's right. It's a 1963 Bug limo. Yeah, big Bug. It's the big Bug. I mean, you can't squash this thing. Made from three Volkswagens, one with a good front, one with a good back, and one with two good doors. Welded her all together and run it on the road weekly. Not only run it, so I'm going to go right out of the gate let's go to Mad Mike. Mike, I know you're a Mazda guy. I know you're a Rotary guy. The Rotang clan is on your vehicles. I mean, you have the 787 behind you. Is it 787 or 767 behind you?
787.
787, thank you. What do you think about Volkswagens? And what do you think of this car?
Oh, man, I love this thing. The first thing I noticed was that it does burnouts, so that's a plus straight away. But this car was actually built back in the 90s, believe it or not. I don't know if it's just because New Zealand is small and everyone seems to know everyone. But Ross, that owns this car, built this car, actually gave me my first job as an apprentice sign writer. So, man, this thing was built, like I say, back in the 90s. It was fluoro yellow with purple. And yeah, on the odd Friday night, he'd take us for a cruise. What looks like a wing, we'd be sitting on it, or as a fourth or fifth row of seats, but that thing just oozes style. It's unique, it's personality. I know that has a garage spirit because a lot of people's thoughts, a lot of people put input into this car.
I love it. It's such a great car. It seems like locked up right there. So I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Vituski. Vituski, I got to ask you, logistically, will this fit on a blister pack and a card? Because I'm thinking it might be a little bit wider in a 1/64th than all the vehicles like you see behind you.
Yeah, this one, as you said, was built with 3 VWs, so it's quite long. And yeah, our blister cards do have a fixed size so that they'll fit on peg on shelf. So we probably would have to scale it down a little bit, and that way you could maintain that long proportion. But other than that, I mean, this thing is really cool. I mean, Hot Wheels has been making VW since day one. We had a custom Volkswagen in the line in '68. We've made slammed ones. We've made monster trucks out of them. We've made stock ones. We've made all different types, but I don't think we've ever made a chopped cut off roof limousine that does like drifts and stuff with wings. It's pretty cool.
I think that's what's really cool about it is you said the bug and it's about custom. It's about customness. Yeah. It might look similar, but it's very different. So I think this car definitely deserves some high accolades right out of the gate. So let's keep it moving. We're already halfway through our show here, and we're only one car in. So thank you so much. Obviously the Wodettes and Mike and then Brendan. But let's move on to a vehicle that is near and dear, obviously, to the drifting world. This is an S14. Now, this vehicle was purchased back in 2016, stock standard, and has since swapped the motor out for manual trans, is over 350 horsepower. I mean, you can see the custom exhaust there. I really love the color. Now, the full panel and paint, suspension. I mean, it sounds like this thing, legal to drive, looks like it's track ready, styles for miles. Let's go to Molly. Molly, what do you think of the S chassis and the S14 here? I mean, the Blitz wheels, the color. Is this Hot Wheels Legends worthy in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a beautiful build, and you can just see that attention to detail, is really impressive, and not only visually and aesthetically with the modified body, but mechanically, as you said, and the engine and the new transmission, new suspension. I think even differential subframe, all the control arms, everything has been replaced in that car. So I think that really ticks the box in terms of the garage spirit as well. So it looks authentic from the outside and inside as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a JDM dream right here. I mean, from the livery to, I mean, the lack of livery, I guess, but the wheels and, does that transfer for you in your eyes? I'm going to throw it to Dwayne Vance. I like going to kind of an automotive judge and then going to a Hot Wheels designer. Dwayne, what are your thoughts on this vehicle? Does this have enough in order to get the win here?
I would venture to say I like the car. Actually, I love S14s. I know that my son really wants one really bad right now, so I've been familiarizing myself with them more. But yeah, as far as becoming a Hot Wheel, I feel like we've definitely done things like this. One of the things that might set this apart from what we haven't done before is like maybe the fairings and some of the body kit and stuff like that. But as far as the 1/64 style or the 1/64 scale, all the attention to the detail of the engine bay and like all the suspension and stuff like that, and even the wheels, we can't really replicate. You kind of will miss out on some of that detailing that he's actually has in his car. So,
yeah, you kind of hit on where mine kind of tone was going is, the deco, as you call it in the diecast world, the shrunk down kind of livery or graphics. It's a nice clean color. This car is begging to be driven, begging to be thrashed, begging to be showed and win some trophies. Isn't enough to be a diecast. I think it leaves a little bit of opportunity. Maybe come back next year, livery, different, wilder body kit, or just enjoy the car for what it's intended, and that's to drive.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's an awesome car, and if I was at a show, I'd stop and stare at this thing for a while because it's got a lot of cool stuff to it.
Yeah, bring your son over here. He'll drool all over this thing, right?
Oh, he would. For sure.
All right, Scott, don't get mad just yet. You were throwing me off and blinding me with your headphones that are going off right now. Your Taylor-o-meter over here. All right, as we move on to our next car, let's throw down for a very unique vehicle, and I'm excited to see this thing. A lot of these vehicles just came in like as of last night, so I'm excited. Now, I'm seeing this called the One Buggy Mud Muncher Raptor, built by Carl Goodall. Now, this is, as described, a year. I don't really know if it needs a year, maybe the year of its inception, but a 2008. This thing looks like it could absolutely go at Oxbow Adventure Company, which Mike and I have been out there and ventured around out there and having some good times. But I mean, this is a purpose-built, really rad, again, a buggy. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the build, long travel Fox shocks, big, those look like 37s or 35s at minimum. Obviously, right-hand drive, being in New Zealand. I'm going to go to Mr. Street Machine here, Scott Taylor. Are you an off-road guy? I know you want to see this thing do burnouts, but I'm also, that just caught my eye. I saw zoom right there. Is this thing rotary?
You know
It's
Jared.
rotary. Yeah.
Oh, Scott, go for it.
Yeah, no, well, I grew up in the bush, so off-roading is certainly part of my lifestyle growing up, and I love these mud buggies. I mean, they are not something we see a lot of here in Australia. They are, we don't really do the mud bogging thing here, but that thing looks really cool. I know Mike and Link are going to love the fact that it is rotary powered, so yeah. I think it's unique and awesome. I think they're going to struggle, like the designers will struggle to bring out that detail in a 1/64th scale, though. So I love it. I'm not sure that it's going to work in 1/64th, but, Brendan and Dwayne can answer that question.
Yeah, Scott, stay in your lane, bro. Just get excited about burnouts and cars, okay? You're I'm joking. I'm totally joking. I love to just razz you guys. And Scott, when we finally meet in person, when I'm again over there in New Zealand or come down to Oz, you can definitely punch me right in the face. The rotary One Buggy Mud Muncher. Mike, what do you think of this thing?
I'm going to let Link answer this because that looks like something he'd want.
Yeah, so obviously with this being a rotary, that's kind of what we do. So obviously it makes that like 10 times better with the rotary. This looks like really fun to drive. I think this would be really fun, like deep mud. And there is actually one thing I would change about it. It would look a lot better in my garage. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, he said his garage, Mike, not yours. Again, I know you're paying the bills and he doesn't have a job yet, but regardless, and again, right over there at Highlands Park, I definitely see a lot of traversing with this vehicle. It is rotary. It'd look awesome. Brendan, you're kind of the emoji with the flat mouth right now. There's the smile. What are your thoughts on this?
I love this thing. I mean, it's completely unique and original. And like you talked about on the last car we looked at, we're looking for like that major change, like I use the word gross, but I don't mean ugly. I mean like as in radical, major change. So when you get a vehicle like this that's just got this completely unique shape, and then it's not an LS in there, it's zoom. So having that rotary Wankel engine in there is really cool too. And yeah, this is something I would love to have at my place so I could go take it out in the mountains and just rip on this thing and have a lot of fun. But as far as making it into a Hot Wheels vehicle, I mean, it's totally doable. It doesn't have a windshield, so we could make that body and that interior part, and they can nest together with shutoffs and the tooling, and we could do something cool with this. I think this thing would be a lot of fun. I think this thing would stand out on shelf at 1/64th scale with the big wheels like that are open and visible, and would look really cool.
Well, I think Lincoln will give the quick vote here. He says it'll look a lot better if it's in his garage. And I'm reading, I said 35s, 37. It has 40-inch tires. So the scale here is really getting thrown off by those big tires. But it's a really cool, unique vehicle. Love it. Is it enough? TBD. We'll find out. So let's move on to our next vehicle. Thank you, guys and gal here, as we move on to our next vehicle. And again, loving the rotaries down there. Next up, the 808 wagon with an RX-7. Oh, you know who I'm going to right out of the gate. Scott.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Scott, what do you say? It makes 530 kilowatts, runs 9s at the drag strip, wins car shows for best paint and engineering, also wins burnout comps, a great roll-around car that gets regularly used and abused. I mean, are those welds on the front? I'm not seeing what. This thing's clean. Why would you even race it? I guess it's just the jack of all trades. So of course I got to go to Scott Taylor. Scott.
Man, it's got the show, that's for sure, and it's definitely got the go. Like you said, 9 seconds down the quarter mile. This thing is fast. It is. It sits nice and fat on the tubbed rear end as well. You know, so does it have enough pop to be a Hot Wheels legend? I'm not sure, but it certainly looks awesome. And yeah, I would stop and stare at this thing at a car show, as Dwayne said before. Like, this thing stands out.
Yeah, I really like the subdued paint. It kind of looks, I don't want to say it's a sleeper because it looks fast. I kind of like the kind of muted color scheme. Molly, I see you shaking your head. Do you kind of agree with that? Like, what are your sentiments?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a big fan of wagons. I think they're so underrated. So I love that they're celebrating the wagon. So the huge points from my end for that. I kind of agree with Scott a little bit of, whether it's got enough pop to stand off the shelf, but I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think overall it's really cool. So I'm going to throw it over to Dwayne Vance. I feel like you love this thing because I feel like you like wagons. You can fit your mountain bike back there. You can put your dog in there. It has almost like a Warbird-esque feel to it with that colorway. It's muted. I mean, look at the Spitfire on your wall. It almost looks like a Mazda Spitfire wagon thing, right, Dwayne?
Oh, I love this thing. I mean, this would be a car that I would love to build myself and own. But it does, I love this thing, and I agree that it doesn't have quite the overall pop that you want in 1/64 scale. But man, this would be something that I would want personally.
And I'm just gonna remind you here real quick as we throw up Riley Stair's vehicle. This car was white. This car had barely any graphics. It had no hood, right? I mean, this was our overall winner, right? In just a couple years ago. So just to remind you that, even a subdued car could be the Hot Wheels Legends winner. So keep that in mind. Not to say, not pushing anything on you. I love wagons. I like going fast. And I like green. I like black. So just, that's my 2 cents. All right. Well, thank you to our judges. That was our first 4 vehicles right there. And just quickly like that. And just to catch you up, you are watching our Hot Wheels Legends Tour New Zealand stop. And this is our first stop of 2022. And we are going outside of the digital space. We're going to be in person, high-fiving and doing all that and celebrating the Hot Wheels Legends Tour. So thank you so much to The Warehouse for partnering with us, where, again, Hot Wheels Legends, where your car can become a Hot Wheels diecast. All right, let's take a look at what we're going to be seeing here for the entirety of the show. In just a moment, we're going to be seeing our contestant submissions, 5 through 6. Thanks to The Warehouse. Contestant submissions 7 through 10. Our judges' top 3. Again, 3, 2, 1. Count them down. We'll tabulate all the scores, and then we'll finally find out who is our winner of Hot Wheels Legends New Zealand Stop 1 of our 2022 tour. All right, guys and gal, you guys ready to see a couple more vehicles? And this is a special one because it's time for Bongo Bonanza. That's right, Bongo Bonanza's going down. And bongos are just near and dear to my heart because more people, more partying, more going on. So we kick it off with the first of the Bongo Bonanza. This 1969 Mazda Bongo built by Todd Holland. Now, thank you so much, Todd, as this thing, the vehicle was pulled apart from a shed in Rotorua and had been sitting for years. It was full of rust and just about not worth restoring. But in between other jobs at his shop, he fully restored it over 2 years, along with fitting a 13B Bridgeport rotary and slam it on the ground. Airbag suspension to give it that low and slow beach bongo look. So still keeping up with that kind of, Kiwi style. I think this thing is absolutely awesome. Of course, I mean, look at that. I mean, the restoration here, the fun that he's having with this thing. Mike, what do you say about Todd's build here? Mike Woodette.
Well, it represents New Zealand perfect. I mean, like, we literally put rotaries in a lot of things. As you've seen, there's been a lot of rotors already. But the garage spirit for sure. You can see just the work that they've put into this from being a rust heap. These things are super rare as well. Like, there's a lot of rotary bongos in New Zealand, but that's the only one I know of that shape, which is the original bongo shape. Like I said, not just rare in New Zealand, but rare global. I'd be interested to see if any of our other international judges on the panel have seen these. What I do love is the fact that when it's jacked, it's got such a sort of like droopy, innocent look, but as soon as you lay it dead flat, instantly it has so much character and looks aggressive. The stance, a lot of work. Very cool car, and I could see it as I've never seen anything like it as a Hot Wheels car.
I mean, even the mirrors are wonky. Like the driver's side mirror kind of kicks out. The right one's a little tight. Overall, just the headlight buckets. I think the color of this really makes it pop too, which is interesting. Traditionally, like black and blue is a little subdued. Molly, I saw you smile when you said the mirrors. Why did that stand out to you as well, Molly?
I mean, not the mirrors particularly, but I just think, especially all the young kids that buying Hot Wheels as well, and the next generation that are going to be buying them. I mean, I think it would be really cool to have a Bongo van, with that place in history, and keep the what that car's known for, and just keep something really cool like that as its place in history as a Hot Wheels. So I think that would be really cool.
That's a great point, right? Because some of these cars that the Hot Wheels diecasts have made over the year, Hot Wheels the team has made, they've gone away, and the Bongo van has existed from 1966 to 2020, which is 54 years of the Bongo. So you got to keep the Bongo Bonanza going. Going to you, Vatuski, what do you make? Have you ever seen a Bongo van like this? And are you familiar with the Bongo van and the Bongo Bonanza?
No, I'm the ignorant American here. This is new to me, and it's really cool. It's really neat seeing. I'll tell you, I'll be honest, as the toy designer in me and stuff like that, I almost prefer it with the doors off, and I'm probably going to be, cursed all over the world for saying this, but I really like that, how that's open from one side to the other, like that shot right there, how you can just really see into that interior and stuff like that. A vehicle like this, I'd almost want to make it in our Redline Club where we can have more parts, whether it's opening doors, we can add the mirrors and do stuff like that and really give it that high-end detail that I think it deserves. It's really cool. But when I look at it, I mean, I do see what appears to be the stock profile of it. And I like when you look at all our past Legends winners, like the 2Jet Z, even the Nash Metropolitan, you'll see like gross radical changes to them, whether the wheels are sticking out, it's got engines sticking up, or just a complete unique profile. Like I'd almost love to see like a pro stock kind of snorkel coming out of the back with an engine and some pipes, and maybe the wheels are sticking out and it's flared out or something. But that's just me. But I'm just one person.
look at Brett. I'm just gonna set this mic down. Go ahead. Moving on. Just go ahead. I'm just kidding. But that is absolutely, you're in the house that diecast built. So I think it's a testimonial to kind of your enthusiasm and excitement, saying like, hey, it might not be the overall winner, but either come back next year, or for those that are aspiring and kind of watching, they're like, okay, now I know how to impress the judges. And guess what? People are going to start building cars to appease, the designers, and I love it. I think it's really exciting. So I appreciate kind of all the insight. So let's move on to our next Bongo Bonanza entry, and this is a 1972. So we've advanced on from 3 years. Looks fairly similar, but look at this thing, this F1000. I mean, this is what's really cool about this is it looks like a service vehicle, hence the livery, right? So the mint little van that they decide to slam on the ground and use it at events, at breakdown and tow vehicle, always turns head wherever it goes to make for some great photos. I'm a sucker for white vehicles. I really loved Riley's vehicle that won, just a couple of years ago. This thing, I love it. Who do I want to go to here? Let's out of the gate. I usually kind of ask one of the racers. You know what? I'm going to let's go to Scott. Scott, I got to ask you, because this is, we're not seeing it do burnouts. We're not seeing it do anything wild. We're not seeing a blower. But I feel like you have a special near and dear heart for something that looks kind of OE in stock like this, kind of untainted.
Mate, I love the period correct paint on this thing. It looks so great. I do wonder, are they breeding these things over there in New Zealand? Are they like sheep? I don't know. There seem to be a lot of Bongo vans, but I love the shape of these little vans. We're still kicking ourselves over missing out on buying one of these a couple of years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. We missed out on one of these for $4,500, and it was pretty clean, you know. So I'm still kicking ourselves that, you know, we didn't buy that thing. Would have made a great little merch van. Sure, it could have only held probably 4 t-shirts, but it would have made a great little promo van.
T-shirts if they were my size. I'm a double X, so yeah, definitely my
Yeah,
size. But I like how untainted this thing is, and it seems to me like kind of more of like a Goodwood Festival Speed type car, even a Goodwood Revival. I mean, just from, you know, look at that, the mud flaps. I mean, that is super sick. Mike, stop drooling. Mike, stop drooling. I know, you know, Scott didn't eat. You said you had a nice lunch. You know, Tony made you lunch. But Mike, you got to be absolutely ecstatic to see this thing.
Oh man, period correct. The livery, graphics, and then, you know, even with the steely hubcaps, and then just lowered. I think like it's perfect. It's really simple, but you look how effective it looks. I love the fact you open it up and there's already a set of Mazda racing overalls. I think ultimately this would be really cool as Link's pit van.
You guys just want to own all the rotary vehicles. You want the off-road 40-inch buggy. Look at like anything rotary is just going to end up at the Wooddat house. I think this thing is really cool, and like I said, it would be a really cool pit vehicle for the Mad family over there. But overall, I think it's really cool. Dwayne, quick note from you as a designer. What are your thoughts? Has a Bongo van, particularly this 1970 here, right? Am I correct in saying? Yeah, 1972, excuse me. Has this ever been made?
No, we've never done a casting on the Bongo. At least I don't think so. I can't think of one. I'm pretty sure we never have.
Right.
Definitely not.
But I would love to see this thing again, like you said, as a bike carrier, you know? I could shove a few bikes in the back and customize that out. That'd be perfect.
I love it. Yeah, very, very cool vehicle. All right, so the Bongo Bonanza is sadly over. Thank you so much for that 1972 beautiful, again, Mazda service vehicle there, built by, is it Peter Daziel, I believe, is if I could pronounce it correctly. Thank you so much, Peter. All right, thank you to our partner, The Warehouse. Again, if you haven't already, headed over to warehouse.co.nz. You could pick up little Link Wadette here, the No Kidding, or Riley Stairs Hot Wheels Legends winner from 2020. But regardless, head on over to the warehouse.co.nz. All right, just 3 more cars, and then you, the judges that are here on this panel, are going to scrutinize it. And then Molly could go back to sleep because she's going to rest, and then she's going to go back to the racetrack. She's right there at Bathurst. So and again, Link's going to go out and rip around on 2 wheels or 4 wheels, and Dwayne's going to go to sleep, and Brendan and Scott's going to do more burnouts. So, all right, let's move on. And actually, Scott, you're going to finally eat. You said you didn't have lunch prior to us going on, so we can get you some food. All right, 4 more vehicles. I said 3, but I'm mistaken. Let's see. Car number 7. This is our 1970 Ford XY Falcon 500. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Exuberance from Mr. Taylor. Emily Irvine building this Falcon 500. Taking a look at some of the specs here. It's a supercharged 521 big block Ford, making more than 1,000 horsepower. Built for his son. His name is Ford. Go figure there. It's an amazing midnight metallic blue, fully custom suede interior, all original gauges, and custom exhaust system. Full show condition, but it does burnouts. Look at that thing. Look at it lunge forward. Scott, you lifted your arms in the air like you just won this thing on the lottery. Why are you so excited about this car, Scott?
I mean, I've been waiting for something like this. I mean, look, nothing against the rotaries, but this is a bit of me right here. I mean, this is a classic Aussie car with a blown big block. I mean, it looks like it's fallen straight off the pages of Street Machine, you know. So, yeah. I mean, the owner's claiming, 1,000 horsepower? So, and the fact that this is street legal and street drivable in New Zealand, to me, is just like, wow, that is crazy. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure this will feature in my top 3.
All right. Well, just right out of the gate, again, he just threw his arms up in victory like he just won a gold medal or the gold wheels that are sitting on the vehicle. Brendan, are you familiar? And maybe I'm going to go back to Scott here. The Ford XY Falcon 500, and Brendan, maybe you guys can collab on this. Did this car ever exist in the States? I know we're speaking primarily here to New Zealand, but how does this vary, obviously it's a 4-door, but what, Scott, maybe some education on this vehicle in particular, and then educating Dwayne and Brendan.
It did exist in the States in some form, but not not fully this shape, and certainly not this styling. But this is very much like an Australian GT style car, and very famous, and very near and dear to a lot of Australians for sure. Like Molly's there at Bathurst. These things raced around Bathurst back in the early 70s, and they basically ruled the track.
See, so there it is. I mean, again, pardon my ignorance, Molly. I'm gonna, before I go to the Hot Wheels designers, Molly, you just kind of stabbed your heart. You're like, yep, got me right in the feels, kiddo.
Oh, it really did. I mean, to echo everything that Scott said, but my dad actually used to rally an XY GT Falcon. So out in the forest, in the gravel, doing just huge rooster tails of dust. It was a fan favorite, and we still have the car sitting in our garage. It's black with the same gold stripes. So, yeah. I mean, my dad drove my sister to her wedding in the car. And it's been I actually got kicked off a track for drifting it instead of driving around the track like you're supposed to drive years and years ago. So, yeah, to me, this is what, Aussie muscle cars is all about.
Well, I'll just stop right now. I feel like between Molly and Scott, the Taylors are just, I mean, sorry, Mike and Link, I know you're a Rotary fan, but here comes this big, 1,000 horsepower XY Ford Falcon. It just it just goes for it. But Dwayne, I'm going to go to you, man. I mean, what do you think of this build?
Actually, I love it. And I love it because of the fact that it's a 4-door. I know that here in the States, we had Falcons out here, and most people would want just a 2-door, but I love the fact that they took a 4-door and made it into this crazy muscle car. And it looks super cool. I mean, it really does. And I don't think I know that Hot Wheels has never made anything like this.
This thing, it ticks all the boxes, right? Authenticity, creativity, and garage spirit. Again, built, it's somewhat about the story. His son's name is Ford. It's got this blue, and then here's the Taylors who have, again, Molly and Scott, who have a relationship, not with this in particular vehicle, but the model of vehicle. Like, you're talking about the Bongo vans earlier, Scott, and saying like, oh, coulda, shoulda, woulda, shoulda bought that. Molly and the family still has theirs, driving to the wedding, and this is what it comes down to, is like, owning that vehicle and saying like, oh, yeah, I own that. I own the Triassic 5. Yeah, it's sitting right here on my desk. Brendan owns the real one, but I think that's the relationship that people have with Hot Wheels. So, all right, let's move on to our next vehicle. A great submission there, and obviously thank you to Emily Irvine right there. All right, moving on to, oh man, look at that. Is that like a root beer satin? Ooh, I'm a sucker for a good satin paint job if it's well done. And again, shrunken down. All right, this is the Model A. It's iconic. It's low. It's flat. It's loud. It's fast. And the kids light up. The kids' eyes light up when they see it. I mean, this is quintessential Hot Wheels right here. No hood. I mean, just overall, you could see the engine, well executed. The rag top, the white walls. Overall, man, I just got to go to Mike. Mad Mike here. I know you're a sucker for old cars and kind of unique, and sometimes a lot of Kiwis and Aussies even know more about American pop culture than Americans do. So what do you make of like a good old fashioned 1931 Model A?
Oh, it's sick to see the variety. Like I say, like New Zealand, we're a small country, but we pack a big punch in so many different automotive car cultures. I personally have seen this car myself. Mad props to the Bad Penny guys. I've seen it being picked up from there, and the workmanship is just through the roof. But you look at it and it just screams Hot Wheels, and I've never actually seen a Hot Wheels like it. Yeah, I've seen like T-buckets and rods, but I think with the skinny tires, the like kind of white walls, interior, I think the subtle like paint all just ties in well. I mean, having such a gnarly motor just like screaming like it can do burnouts.
Yeah, it's so clean. I just love the aesthetic over it. I would want to own this car. And again, if unfortunately you can't own the full size, you can shrink it down and own it. Overall, I think this is just such a well executed. You said it's Andrew Beatson and Bad Penny. Is that the shop, as you said, Mike?
Yeah, we've seen it coming out of being picked up from the shop. So Yeah, it's
Nice.
it's even better in person than, obviously pictures don't do it justice.
Right. No, for sure. All right. So I'm going to throw it to Mr. Vituski. What do you think of this build? You being a builder yourself.
It's beautiful. I mean, the craftsmanship is second to none. I mean, this thing looks like it would have came out of like Hollywood Hot Rods or like Rad Rides by Troy or someone like that does a Wriggler Award winner. Or I'd see this at the Grand National Roadster Show. I mean, it feels like that. But I mean, to the point of it feels like it's here, that I could just go outside and see this in my local neighborhood. Where it's, as an American, I lose that shock factor of, seeing something like the Bongo van, where it's like, wow, I've never seen one of those. These, we see on a regular basis. And, we have a 32 Ford 5-window with a flathead engine in our RLC that's a current tool. We do have a bunch of, open hot rods like this too. I mean, even Dwayne draws up a bunch of ones similar to this as well. So, I mean, that's the only thing that I would say against it, is that it definitely is something we have seen before, but this thing is gorgeous. And yeah, I mean, this is an RLC worthy build. It would even be tough for us to do some of these things in the $1 price point for the main line.
Yeah.
Just like the skinny wheels and white walls and all these other stuff that you would want to capture in a car like this.
Yeah, and that Redline Club is where they really get the details. For those that don't know, look it up. And I love how you kind of touch on that. There's kind of different price points, but I love how Jay Leno always talked about that. How are you still find these 99 cents at your local store, including at the warehouse. So obviously, according to United States standards. But well, thank you so much. Let's move on to our next car. Great looking vehicle, the 1931 Ford Model A Hot Rod. Well, guess what? Like you said it earlier, so many rotaries here in the building. So guess what? You get a rotary, you get a rotary, and you get a rotary. Here is a 1975 Mazda 808 wagon. So different variety. We were talking about kind of the subdued green and black, and this is just kind of, like I say, sponsor me white. I love this car. I think it looks clean, looks like a driver. This is more retro aesthetic. It's obviously not drag race. Don't know the reclined seats. I don't know what built for. Maybe they're going too fast. I don't know what's going on there. But regardless, the 808 wagon, really cool. Overall, Scott, I'm going to go to you, bud. What do you think of this car?
Man, it's a cool looking car. It's got the Simmons wheels. It's a rotary. It's a wagon. So there's a lot going on there. But obviously, it's got to be compared to the other wagon. And when you sort of weigh it up against the other, it's like, it's a cool car, but well, that other wagon, is almost a show car that runs 9. So it's kind of wow. Yeah, I never thought I'd see so many rotaries in the list, though. I've got to say.
I know you're looking for the blowers. You're looking for the V8s. Molly, I'm gonna bounce around the horn here real quick, because it is a cost. It is a we're voting for custom cars here. Outside of seats, outside of wheels, does this have enough, Molly?
Yeah, look, same as Scott said. I think it's a lovely classic wagon, and a lot of love's gone into it. But I think compared to what we have seen in the level of detail and modification and customization, it probably doesn't have enough, I don't think, to really take that top vote.
And then going to Lincoln and Mike, I don't see any 808 wagons in your fleet, but I think, what are your thoughts on this vehicle?
Yeah, well, I definitely like the plain white. It looks really clean. The wheels, everything matches pretty well. And if I saw this on the shelves as a Hot Wheels, I'd probably buy it to add to my rotary Hot Wheels collection.
Yeah, but then overall, Lincoln, do you think does this vehicle have enough to be a Hot Wheels Legends winner of this round and kind of represent New Zealand? What are your thoughts?
Well, it is a very cool car, but it is obviously tough with all the other great cars in, the top 10 Hot Wheels Legends, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, 808 man is one of my 808 wagon actually is one of my most known cars. If you search Mad Mike burnout skid fest, that used to be my thing, was go to all the big V8, similar to in Australia they have the Summernats, and I'd rock up in my rotary, I'd get burgers thrown at me and all sorts of stuff, but go out there in this rotary powered 808 wagon, and won a few skid fests and burnout comps. So I've got a real close touch to 808 wagons. But I agree with Scott. I think comparing it to Steve's version with 9 seconds, the workmanship, the amount of customization, I don't think this one has got what it takes to knock Steve's off the table.
Mike, I got to ask you, out of the gate, if you had this car right now, what would you do to it?
I just drop it to the floor, make sure it's got barely any mufflers in it, and just go and do some skids.
Classic. Absolutely love it. All right, so let's move on to our last vehicle here, and this should be a Ford. This should be a fun one here. This Ford Mark I Cortina, built by Annie Matthews. Now, been building this thing and the car themselves from home for the past 5 years from a bare shell. The current suspension is all custom. Currently doing the interior with some custom touches like roof lining, but the rest will be kept period correct. So twin exhaust setup, an old school truck muffler, some custom airbrushing, cool little British mix with Japanese, German matte. I mean, this thing, you look at the colorway, it's kind of unique. I mean, the louvers out the back. This thing is very, very unique. So again, I'm going to reverse the order here. Mr. Vatuski, what do you think of this vehicle here, this Cortina?
This thing is really cool. Like that pink and white, like you bring up, reminds me of like 50s American cars when you get to like the pastels and the two-tones and stuff like that. But yet it's slammed down. It's got the rotary engine. It's got all these cool, touches to it, and it makes for a really cool car. If it were me, like when I compare it to say past Legends winners and stuff like that, again, I come back to like the radical profile change on the body, so that we've got, whether it's an engine or it's just something that's there, because it still has that stock silhouette body line. And when you think of these cars, we shrink them down to 1/64th scale, so all the details get shrunk down with it. So we need to exaggerate what's there so that it still reads on the pegs on shelf, because you're looking at a car that might have details in the thousandths of an inch or whatever. So we really have to rely on those major changes of shape to make a car read well. So that's where my head's at.
Yeah, I think the deco is, and what's funny is here we are ending on car 10. It's mashing the rotary. It's got the Ford. It's got kind of all the badges that we've kind of collectively been excited about. But the deco being pink and white, it kind of ticks all the boxes. But I think the execution maybe needs some refinement overall. Molly, what do you say about this vehicle?
Yeah, I love the broomstick as the bonnet pin or the bonnet stay. That's a garage spirit touch, right there. And as you say, I love the mashup of all the different components and taking suspension out of a Hilux and a Mazda, and one in the front end and one in the back end. And so to me, I kind of love the spirit behind this and the story, behind how it's been built and why it's been built as well, in memory of some lost family and friends as well. So all those kind of things. I think this is actually a really special car, and it looks good too.
Yeah, I like the pink and white. The livery is kind of unique, and again, just the rotary. So, Scott, do you get triggered with the Cortina having a rotary under the hood?
A little bit, with half the field being powered by spicy triangles. I'm kind of like, well, I wish it had piston power. I do wish it had like a nice turbo Cosworth in there or something like that. But I love Mark I Cortinas. I think they are just a beautiful shape. And I get Brendan's point that you want to see some styling changes, some sheet metal changes to make the car sort of stand out. But I would have trouble cutting on a Mark I Cortina. They're just such a beautiful classic shape.
No, it's very cool. And again, I don't know if anybody saw it, but the Union Jack even under the hood, that's kind of a cool little touch there, and just overall. So very exciting, our 10 vehicles, and again, kind of just overall all over the place. But thank you to our judges, and thank you for tuning in, because we just saw our 10 vehicles. And just to catch you up, you are watching the Hot Wheels Legends Tour 2022. This is our first stop here in New Zealand. So thank you so much. I'm Jared Deanda, and thank you to The Warehouse, our partner. If you have not gone to thewarehouse.co.nz, head on over there and pick up your favorite Hot Wheels 164th diecast. And again, this is where you guys and gals and people of all ages submitted your vehicles. We've whittled it down to 10 submissions. We just finished viewing all 10 submissions, and only one vehicle will win here tonight to represent New Zealand. Now remember, we'll be around next week in Australia. So let's take a look at the vehicles once again, just kind of ripping through them, but we're going to get our judges' top three, and then again, 3, 2, 1, and we'll find out who won here tonight at our Hot Wheels Legends New Zealand stop, the first stop of 2022. Our star-studded cast of Brendan Batuski, Dwayne, Vance, Mad Mike Woodette, Lincoln Woodette, Molly Taylor, and Scott Taylor. So, we kicked things off with Volkswagen, saw a lot of what some people call Doritos, obviously, the rotaries, but saw rotary and off-road vehicles, saw S chassis, clean, wild, mean. Us here in the States, some of the vehicles you've never seen before, the Bongo Bonanza, the vans. We saw some, all-American horsepower, but definitely with that kind of down-under touch. Overall, just a variety of unique vehicles. But right now, the judges are racking their brain because you're going to give us your 3, 2, and 1. So, without further ado, Molly, no pressure. You're gonna give me your 3, 2, 1 again. You're gonna list off. This is my third place, car number, blah blah blah, and this is why. Second, first, so on and so forth. So, Molly, I'm going to you first. I'm going to you first, Molly.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to kick it off with my third place vote is for the last car we just saw, number 10, the Cortina. I just think that's got a lot of garage spirit and is something that is really special for a few different reasons, mechanically and visually. So that's number 3. Number 2 has to be one of the Bongo vans. I'm going to go for number 6. I love the clean period look, the classic cut. I love that it's used as a tow vehicle, and I just really think the Bongo van deserves its place in history as a Hot Wheels.
Can I guess number 1? Can I guess number 1? Can I guess number 1?
I don't
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. What is it, Molly?
I'm pretty sure Scott and me gave away. Didn't play the poker face really well when the XY Falcon came up. So yeah, number 7, the Falcon. That's to me that looks aspirational. And if I was walking through the shop, I think that's the first one that I would go to pick off the shelf. So that's why that's my number 1.
No, absolutely. So, Scott, you don't need to vote. We already know yours. But Molly, thank you very much. Again, the Ford Falcon. So speaking of Scott, I got to go to you, man. So Scott, what's your 3, 2, 1? You're so excited. Thank you to Street Machine for being our partner here.
Yeah, sorry. My third place is number 5, the black Bongo van with a rotary in it. So I'm not hating on the rotaries.
Wait, what?
But yeah.
What? I gotta go. You guys are just. I'm joking. I think
it's a cool little van, and you got to choose one of the Bongos. I chose this one, so yeah. The second spot for me is the Model A. So my father-in-law is a Model A tragic. He's got a Woody wagon and then also got a Roadster pickup. So we got a lot of love for Model A's in our family. So the 471 blower, the flathead, it's chopped, it's channeled, beautiful car. So anyway, but number 1, no surprise, is the XY Falcon. So yep. Car number 7, the XY Falcon, that is my number 1 pick. So, look, how can it not be? It's blown, it's a big block, it's V8, it's a classic Aussie design. It just has that treasured place in a lot of Australians' hearts, from its Bathurst days and that sort of thing. These things are just to buy a stock 4-door Falcon in one of these is $100,000 now. So, to buy a GT is several $100,000 now. So, yeah, they're in demand and loved by a lot of Australians.
Oh, Scott, I've read this book before. I'm joking. I love it. And again, yours and Molly's affinity for it, I think, speaks volumes of, again, you talk about the price point for the real car. Well, let's shrink it down, and now everybody can enjoy this car. I think that's what we're really getting to here. The Woodettes, I'm going to keep you on deck. Okay? Not just yet. I'm going to go to Mr. Brendan Vituski. Brendan, going to you. What's your 3, 2, 1, buddy?
All right, number 3, or my third place is number 4. It's that 808 wagon, the one that runs 9s. That is just really cool. I don't think we have anything like that in the line, and it's just a cool car. So yeah, got to give some love to it. Number 2 is the number 7, the 70, the XY Falcon. That thing is really cool for all the reasons mentioned already, so I won't repeat them here. And my first place is number 3, the Mud Muncher Raptor. We talk about unique vehicles. This thing's totally hand built. It's not even a production car. It's just something that's completely different. You look at all the past Legends winners, and like last year's was a gasser with an engine sticking out, and the year before was a muscle car with a visible engine, and then you had the Nash with the engine sticking out and stuff. We haven't had like a truck, an off-road vehicle, let alone something that's just been completely built from nothing since the original Legends winner. And this thing is just the most unique out of everything I think we've seen today. So it gets my number 1.
I love that. Great vantage point, again, within the Hot Wheels building. So I love that. Thank you so much, Mr. Vituski. All right, the Vancinator. The Vancinator is here to give you the verdicts of 3, 2, 1. The Vancinator, please give me your verdict.
All right. I'm going to say my third choice is going to be the 1969 Bongo wagon, the black one.
Okay.
Partly because we don't have a casting like that at all, so I think that would be really cool to get that in our lineup. All right, number 2, I'm going to go with number 4, Steve Elliott's 808 wagon, the drag wagon. I love that thing. If that had some bike racks on top, man, that would be perfect for me.
Game over. Game over, man. Game over.
Now, my number 1 is the same as Brendan's. I love number 3, the Mud Muncher. I totally agree with everything he said, that it's just super unique, and I can envision that thing at 1/64 scale, and I think it would be super cool, and I think it would look amazing along all the rest of the Legend winners right now. So, because it's a different profile, it's an off-road vehicle, it's scratch built, it's got everything that I would want on a 1/64th Hot Wheel.
You guys are really catching me off guard with that custom build, because it's pretty much tires, a cage, and a rotary. So I think this is good. This is giving us some kind of insight inside of your scientist type brains. Again, the Vancinator activation. Vituski does the robot along with the Vancinator. I think it's really cool perspective to see you guys challenging designers and also challenging execution and opening up the molds and the die casts to make this. So I appreciate the Hot Wheels. No, I know you do. Obviously, again, Brendan, five die casts. I mean, not compared to Mad Mike Woodette here. 9, just, whew. All right,
he's
thank
approaching
you.
Larry Wood.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Well, speaking of Mad Mike and the missing link, we found him once again here. Lincoln Woodette, you first, and then we're going to throw it to Pops over here. Put an exclamation point on our judging panel here. Link, you're 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
All right, so my number 3 pick is the RX-3 wagon, the 9.5, the one that pulls a 9.5 drag. That's such a clean build. I really love the car. I like the color. Yeah, I like everything about it, and I would definitely buy that if I saw that on the shelves of Hot Wheels. So my number 2 pick is the service Bongo van. That would definitely be a pretty cool service car for us.
I agree.
Yeah, so that would be a pretty cool service car for us, and I really like the color as well. Also, definitely buy that if I saw that as a Hot Wheels. Yeah, it's just overall really cool build. And probably not my number 1 pick is the off-road truck. Obviously, I really like that. Obviously, it's fully custom. The big wheels, the rotor, just everything about it is so unique and obviously very different to everything that we've seen today.
I love that. And again, just, we kind of glanced over it because it's everything you need and nothing you don't, right? So the car, you need tires, you need an engine, you need seats, you need a steering wheel, you need suspension. You don't need panels like that. So I think that's what's really cool about it is I always say that Riley's car is begging to be driven, but this thing is begging to be bashed on. And like we said, Mike Wadette here, we went to Oxbow Adventure Company on one of your, Red Bull Drift Shifter events, and that was absolutely awesome. And the Oxbow 4-wheel car, it broke when we were driving it, but it was still a good time. But I think this car is really cool, or this truck. So without further ado, Mad Mike Wadette, your picks, 3, 2, 1, send it.
All right, number 3, Mud Muncher. Again, as everyone's kind of discussed, I just think ultimately as well as not just being a 1/64th Hot Wheels diecast, but when you're a kid and you're pushing around a Hot Wheels car, you kind of imagine you're the driver. I feel like I could definitely imagine myself if I was a 3-year-old pushing that around, like screaming up hills and roosting all the competition and just having fun. So that for one, the garage spirit, you can see just a full scratch built tube frame, all the diffs, the wheels. It's not like a Lego kit that's been put together. It's thought up with a bunch of minds and have created something really fun. And it is the world's first that I know of that's kind of like a rock crawler, hill climber with a 13V turbo rotary in it. So it just screams fun and screams Hot Wheels.
I love it. All right, so that's number 3, or is that your number 1?
No, that's number 3. Yeah. So I know I ranked that up, but yeah,
What about 2 and what about number 1?
Yeah, so number 2 coming up. I mean, this has been a rotary fest. People are probably going to think that out of the thousands of people, I've selected the top 10. Well, I haven't. But number 2 is actually V8 powered. So I'm going for the Model A. I think that car is super clean. Yeah, I know Hot Wheels have got some of these already in packages on the shelves, but usually they've got liveries and stuff on them as well. I haven't seen anything with the white walls. I know it'd be a little bit difficult for the basics line. Obviously working with Hot Wheels with a lot of my custom creations on trying to push the boundaries. I know Hot Wheels can do that and do some pretty cool stuff for the basic line. And that's just a cool car. I would love to have as a Hot Wheels. I'd love to own that car in person. And it's street legal. So I think that's one of the cool things is about having a car that's also you can enjoy but take on the street. And number 1. Man, I said I've got a close heart to the 808, and I'm going for Steve's 808. I think as subtle as it looks, Jared, you said it looks subtle with the paint job, but I think that's what makes this car is that it's a subtle paint job, but then it's just so crazy in every other aspect. Rotary summer drags, it was down there running in the 9s with passengers in the car. So as a real life car, 1-to-1 scale, it's super fun, it's fast, it works. There's a lot of workmanship gone into it. There's a lot of technology that's gone into it. And this car, man, has come through. I know this car well through rotary events, burnout competitions, and it really screams Kiwi. It does. And it's been through a whole lot of different builds as well. You can look back at the different generations of the builds of this, different wheels from like the kind of drift style with work equips to now with the welds and having this whole drag set up, always changing the motor and gearbox. It's a car that people enjoy 1-to-1 scale building and developing, and that is my number 1 pick. I would love to see that on shelves as a Hot Wheels diecast.
You guys are just all over the place. I mean, it was kind of, just from the Falcon to the Mud Muncher and now the 808. And I think that's, let's just call it what it is, the Kiwi Fanu. Like that's what it's about is just overall the family and the motorsports culture that that resides in New Zealand is just that. It's all inclusive, and obviously, Molly and Scott, being Aussies, we're celebrating Australia next week, but overall, just there's a large rotary contingent, but there's also doing the skids, doing the burnouts, summer now. I mean, there's just the automotive culture is so awesome down there. So I think, like what Mike said, is that car is totally Kiwi, but all these cars are truly Kiwi. Again, even down to the Cortina that got Molly's vote there in the top 3, but the rotary in the Ford. I love the juxtaposition, all that. But I think the diversity is key. So that should be absolutely well crafted. Round of applause from our judges for all the vehicles, 10 submissions, being part of Hot Wheels Legends New Zealand, because again, putting all these vehicles together. So thank you so much. And of course, a shout out, round of applause for our retail partner, The Warehouse. If you have not gone there already, thewarehouse.co.nz for all the latest Hot Wheels. And I mean, it's got to be pretty close. It's got to be pretty close, and it is. And I'm getting an update here. Yeah, okay, we got our winner. Without further ado, if you think you know, you're about to find out. Your winner of your Hot Wheels Legends New Zealand Stop 1 of the 2022 Hot Wheels Legends Tour, your winner, representing New Zealand, is the One Buggy Mud Muncher Raptor built by Carl Goodall. Look at that. Look at that. Congratulations. Again, embodying all the things that are creativity, authenticity, garage spirit. It does have a rotary, so that has the Kiwi spirit. Overall, this vehicle will join all the other Legends Tour finalists at the grand finale in Los Angeles in November for a chance to have their car immortalized as an iconic Hot Wheels die-cast vehicle. Thank you so much to our judges. Molly, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Quick little thoughts going around the horn. Molly, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. There was always going to be a good winner at the end of the day because we had such a quality top 10. So really happy to be involved, and I want to go drive this thing now.
Exactly. Scott, let's see this thing do burnouts in 40s, right? On 40-inch tires.
I'd love to see it do some all-wheel drive burnouts. That'd be great. It may not have been in my top 3, but I've got to say, I do love this thing. I think it's a great car. And, the judges have spoken. Here's our winner.
That's awesome. Dwayne, the Devancinator. Sorry, I mean Mr. Devancinator. Moving on. Your thoughts?
No, thanks again for being able to be back on the show again. I know this is, I think, my 3rd season doing this.
That's
I believe.
Right. Yep.
So it's just a pleasure. It's cool. I love being on the international shows because I get to see cars that I normally don't get to see, in the States. So it's a treat to get to do these and to judge these and to see just the creativity in other places and how people do different stuff in other countries and stuff with the cars. So very cool. I'm glad that he won this.
Yeah, I love it. And again, inspiration comes from all places. So, Mr. Vituski, thank you for joining us again. Once again, I had black hair 5 years ago. Now it's gotten gray. So, Vituski, how was your experience here? Once again, joining us.
It's always been great. Really echoing what Mr. Devancinator just said. I mean, it's so great being a part of these international shows because, we're exposed to vehicles that we don't normally get to see or we may have never seen before. So it's always so cool to see how different people build with, what's local to them or, the parts or the trends that are local to them versus what we have here. So it's always inspiring and so cool to see. So, and thank you for all the people that have submitted their vehicles into the Legends event. It's never easy to pick one, even within this, it's always tough because there's so many great builds and great things to see. So thank you all.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but definitely not least, the father and son duo, Lincoln Wadette and Mad Mike Wadette. Thank you for joining us. Lincoln, Mike, Link.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching. Congratulations, Mud Muncher, for getting first place in the Hot Wheels Legends. Thank you so much to Hot Wheels for supporting me with my race program and got my own Hot Wheels too. Yeah, so thank you so much to Hot Wheels and thanks everyone for watching.
Mikey?
Yeah, man, what an opportunity for the Kiwis. It's so cool that Hot Wheels, give the public this opportunity to have their car immortalized into a 1/64th diecast, and battle out with the world's best custom car builders all around the globe. It's really cool. A 2nd year running for New Zealand. And stoked to be involved in it. Thank you everyone for tuning in, as Link said, and all the judges, Jared announcing, of course. Until next year.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Molly, Scott, Dwayne, Brendan, Link, and Mad Mike Wadette. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, this is just the first stop of many. The Hot Wheels Legends 2022 tour continues. Thanks to our judges. Thank you for submitting your vehicles. Keep the submissions coming, and tune in next week for Hot Wheels Legends Australia. Now, that's going down April 21st. That's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, AEST. So check Hot Wheels Official on IG for all the updates, and you can click on Facebook for more info. I'm Jared Dienda, and Mike, I hopefully see you in person late this year. And again, shout out to the Woodette family. So thank you guys, gal, so much for all you guys and gal do. Thank you online. Thank you so much. Send it. We'll see you online. We'll see you another time. Thank you so much. Hot Wheels Legends, New Zealand. That's a wrap.